Absolutely fantastic. And what a great week for Columbus and Columbus sports, having all three teams make the playoffs, and couldn't be prouder to be a part of it.
Well, it's Coach's Show playoff edition, I guess, but it's the first time we've had all three of you guys on, so yeah, very exciting. But you have a big opponent in Beatrice coming up. We'll talk about them in a little bit, but what's the focus been like in practice this week?
It's been very good. And the thing about right now, we talk to our kids. We're going on our 10th game in 10 weeks. And, that's something the NFL guys don't get asked to do. And so, we're trying to nurse them through the bangs and the bruises and the bumps and things like that. And, trying to get as much out of them as you can, but giving them the rest that they need to get recovered from a very physical game last Friday. But, they've done a good job responding, and they got to take a lot of mental reps and make sure that that part of the game is taken care of. So when they do get a chance to get in there with their limited reps, they can be very successful with them.
Well, let's take a look at that physical game. The Blair Bears come into town for the final game of the regular season for a district championship on the line. And Coach, didn't start out well for you. We were a little bit like, oh wait, that's not a great start for Coach Williams and the Discoverers, but you guys bounced back and you ultimately won 31-10. That was the first play of the contest, though, or second play rather.
Yeah, and unfortunately we've been in that situation a couple times where we've given up a big play early or two big plays early. But this group of kids, they really keep their head and they keep their wits about them, and they don't panic. They believe in the system. They believe in what we do. We don't abandon our game plan when we get down early. We stick to it. And they did it again on Friday night and clawed back into it and tied it up at halftime. We were pretty fortunate to be tied at halftime. We had a big stop there on fourth down in the first half and punched it in to tie it up. But then we knew getting the ball back in the second half, we had an opportunity to take the lead. Then our defense comes up with a big stop, and we punch another one in to make it a 2-score lead.
Well, you talk about them being resilient and believing in the system. Do you have to say anything to them after they give up a big play like that? I know it's intense in the moment. Do you say anything, or are you just like, I know these guys are going to turn things around, or is there a little pep talk in there?
No, the biggest thing is you just got to get the next unit on the field and just keep rolling. If there's one person that I guess can't lose their cool out there, it's myself. And I know that they look up to the coaches for to be solid through those times, and so we gotta stay solid and stay confident as well. But they've done a great job having each other's back all the way through the season.
In this contest specifically, it was really contrasting styles. No secret what you guys want to do. You want to be more physical than the Blair Bears, who are very much a spread team that like to throw the ball, but just looking at the stats, Colton Wolfe, 36 carries, 172 yards. You just had those long sustained drives where you relied on your senior running back to get the job done, and him along with the line did just that.
Yeah, they did. The line did a great job opening holes for anybody who put the ball when we put the ball in their hands, and Colton did a great job. We put the game on his back, and he really responded, especially late in that second half. But sustained drives was the key to this game. When you come out and you give up a touchdown in 2 plays, but then they don't have the ball again for the next 8 minutes. That's a big deal, and you take that momentum away from them. They kind of lull them to sleep a little bit. And, we just did a great job sticking to our style of play. And, at times Blair had to play our style of football.
As you mentioned, defensively, the battle would be in the backfield. How did you rate your guys after you went back and looked at the film on this game?
We did miss some tackles, and it showed. The first play there, we had a couple missed tackles. I think we settled down in the second half. We gave up a couple of drives there, but once we got settled down and realized, hey, it's not a big deal if we give up a 6-yard play here or 7-yard play there, but we can't give up the big one. And once we realized that and we got settled down, we were fine.
Something else noticed about the defense, it seemed like the longer the game got on, the stronger they got. You came up with a couple big sacks in the second half late in the fourth quarter when Blair was trying to throw the ball, and you kept getting that penetration. What do you attribute that to?
Well, the biggest thing is they were simply one-dimensional in the second half. They were 2 scores down. They were trying to get back and tie the game up there in the fourth quarter, but we only gave up 47 yards rushing in the game, and that's a team that has a good running quarterback and a good tailback. So, but when you only give up 47 yards rushing, it's a one-dimensional game for your defense, and you can kind of pin your ears back, and you don't give the quarterback quite as much time to get rid of the football.
Our player of the game was Colton Wolfe. We interviewed him afterwards, but there was a slew of guys, and it was tough just because he had 4 touchdowns. It's like, well, the guy obviously had a great game. It was hard not to talk to him, but the way Marshall Cyrus and those guys stepped up on the line when you have a guy like Hammond's going down, can you talk a little bit to that?
Well, yeah, and it's not just one guy filling in. The rest of the guys have to pick up the slack as well. You know, Garrett Kranzler came in and did a great job at right tackle for us with Hammonds being out of the game with the bad ankle, and but those other guys really picked him up, and you know, they made sure that they did their job and they trusted that Garrett was going to do his and helped him out when they needed to help him out. But Garrett's a smart kid. He's a physical kid. He's a senior. He's been in the program for a long time, and he stepped in. And honestly, once the game started, we didn't even think about it out there. We just called our plays and knew that he was going to handle whatever we threw at him.
Well, Coach, looking forward now, Beatrice. Now, looking at the projections prior to this game, a lot of people thought it was going to be Beatrice versus Columbus. In Beatrice, they fell to Norris, and so you now get to host the Orange Men. Obviously, that's something you want to host a playoff game, but how are you feeling now hosting this Beatrice squad coming to Columbus on Friday?
Well, you know, it's a team that we do have some, you know, we've seen a little bit. We're familiar with their coach, their head coach, and, you know, he used to be at Fremont for a number of years, left the state for a couple of years, now he's back. So we're familiar with him. We've played him in JV the last few years. Never had the opportunity to play him on varsity, but you know what a tremendous program. I believe this is 8 straight years they've been in the playoffs. I heard earlier today. So they've done a tremendous job down there with no matter who's running the show. But you know it's a tremendous challenge for our kids, and this is going to be a big physical team that's got tremendous athletes. They got a Division I recruit that's already committed to Nebraska, and you know he did that as a sophomore. He's only a junior this year, and so we're looking forward to putting it on the line again. And we talked about it tonight that we have to prove ourselves every week when we go out on the field, and you know it's going to be another game like that on Friday.
Talk about nursing injuries and stuff, and obviously you want to watch out for the guys as they're getting ready, but you still have some focuses in practice. Defensively, what are you keying on, including obviously that big target they have?
Yeah, you know, we've got to be careful of their counter game. They're an outstanding counter team, and they set it up with the jet sweep, and they got some quick guys coming across the formation. They fake that handoff, and they hand off to their tailback and run quarterback counter. And you know, we've got to do a tremendous job of reading those guards, and our backers got to get the correct reads and get downhill and get their correct fits in the run game. And if we do that, you know, we'll be in great shape.
All right, Coach. Well, of course, the storyline all year has been 0-9 last year, and now you're hosting a playoff game. So, you know, you have the same core group of guys, most of them who were starting last year. What's the message? Obviously, it's win or go home, but, you know, look what you guys have done, and look what you guys can still do as you head into the postseason?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've given our seniors a chance to talk to the team and talk about what this week's meant to them and what this game on Friday means to them. And, you know, one of them stood up today and said, you know, I think it would validate the fact that 0-9 is completely behind us. It's in the rearview mirror. It's nowhere close. And that wasn't really us. And you know, we can take another step forward and you know, for this program with a win on Friday night.
All right, Coach. Well, wishing the best of luck as always. We'll be broadcasting it, so it'll be a good one Friday.
All right. Thank you.
And that wraps up this edition of the Coaches Show. Stay with us as Kurt Frenson and Lakeview is coming up next.
State Farm agent Annette Alt can help you find the right level of auto coverage. Call today at 402-564-8581. Rest easy. State Farm agent Annette Alt is there for you. Call 402-564-8581 today for the service you deserve.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up!
That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Annette Alt in Columbus today. State Farm agent Annette Alt can help you find the right level of auto coverage. Call today at 402-564-8581.
To the Coaches Show playoff edition here on News Channel Nebraska, brought to you by Annette Alt and State Farm. Give Annette Alt a call today to discuss auto, home, life, and renters insurance. Brandon Axmit, Grant Otten, and head coach Kurt Frenzen, who is with the Vikings and back in the playoffs for the first time since 2013. So how are you feeling getting ready for the postseason?
You can imagine we're excited, and it's definitely something that kids have worked hard for, and it was great to see our kids attain that goal. And we're wanting to keep things rolling along. The kids are really battling each day in practice, so hopefully we can keep it going a little bit longer.
Well, it's got to be exciting at practice, too, and I know it's been an emphasis for you as you guys came off that SCOTUS loss and really turned the Jets on. You guys have, really played well, and I think a lot of people are watching you as you get ready to face O'Neill. Has practice been good?
Yeah, we've had a good week of practice, and all of our practices have been really physical, and they're going to have to be because O'Neill is a team that can do it all. They can run and they can pass, and they're very physical, so we're going to have to be at the top of our game, that's for sure.
We'll talk about O'Neill shortly. We're going to look back at the contest against Ord. 30-18, Lakeview came out on top. And, Coach, it was really all on the line for this one. It was win or go home. Your team showed up. Your team played well. And you are now in the postseason.
Yeah, we got off to a great start that night. We went on something like a 14-play, 7-minute drive to start the game and really ran down Hill well. And we did a great job at the end. Jaden Johnson running in for the score there. And then defensively came out and Jared Blaser got a strip right away, and so here all of a sudden we're up 10-0 before the game even really got started.
Well, it's been exciting to watch you guys here at the end of the season because you guys have been playing some great football. Overall, offensively, can you kind of assess how you guys did in the game or what you kind of went on the grade score?
Well, I would say that, overall our offense performed at a pretty high level. We rushed the ball pretty effectively the other night. And Jaden Johnson really carried us. Jordan Jansen went out early with an ankle sprain, and we actually did not have him for probably 3/4 of the game. Jake Frenzen was slowed by a hamstring. He seems to be a little bit closer to full speed this week. So to be honest with you, we got some good production out of Dakota Pro Rock, and then obviously Jaden with another long run there. So both those guys really kind of carried the load for us as Jordan was hobbled and really didn't play any offense.
Well, clearly you have to be happy with the result. It was a win you needed. Now, Ord coming into this one was at the top of the district, and of course you're making the trip out west. At all surprised by this score, 30-18, you needed to win to continue your season, obviously.
Well, we felt like, when we played good football, we played with the best teams in the state. And, you can go back and look at the film, whether it's O'Neill, Norfolk Catholic, SCOTUS, you can kind of throw that one out. We didn't play any good football at all that night. But the other two games that we did lose, there was, a quarter in there or even possibly 2 quarters. We played darn good football. Problem is we just didn't put 4 quarters together. We still haven't put 4 quarters. I would say we played 3 quarters of pretty solid ball the last 2 weeks, but we still haven't put that full game together.
Well, again, a very tough team, the Ord Chanticleers, and the fact that you guys were able to beat them like you did, it takes a lot of energy and a lot of strength, and obviously some guys get beat up, especially as we get towards the end of the season. How have you guys been feeling health-wise?
Well, we played this game with, like I said, Jordan Jansen only played one side of the ball, and he did it the best he could. He was pretty slowed by an ankle injury. And Zach Kobza went down with ankle injury early in the second quarter, and he was done for the game. So arguably 2 of our best defensive players were out, and then offensively we didn't have either one of those guys as well either. So, we had kids that had to pick up the slack, and they did. And Nolan Vierguts really did it well for us at outside backer, and, he did some things there. And Jordan was able to survive at middle, but Jared Blaser really did a nice job in the middle as well to help carry that load.
And no secret, you ran the ball, you ran it well. Just looking at some of the stats, Johnson leading the way with 130, but you have 42 from Pro Rock, you have 30 from Jansen, Frenzen, and Thatcher also getting 20+, which is what we've come to expect from Lakeview, but you feel like winning these past couple games and playing the way you are, the rushing game is where you want it?
Yeah, it's getting better. We haven't had that one guy we've had to lean on, which is kind of nice. We've had different guys step up at each game, and that makes it a little bit tougher to game plan, you'd like to think, for us. But we just need to continue that. I don't care who steps up. We just need to have somebody. And whether it's offense, where we had Jaden step up last week, or on defense, where like a Cody Thompson, who's a sophomore, who hasn't played a lot of varsity ball, came in last week against Ord and really had some nice plays for us. We just need to continue to have those guys. It's got to be that next man in mentality, and we had that the other night.
Well, we're still looking at some of these highlights against Ord, but as if you guys are getting ready for this O'Neill game, O'Neill is no joke this year, and I don't know if they surprised some people, but when they came out and they were as good as they were, people were like, wow, a lot of eyes went on them. So does the team feel the intensity that's going to come up in this game because it's win or go home?
We've had the luxury, I guess, of playing there this year, so we're not going into undiscovered territory. We've been up there, we played in the stadium. The night we went up there, it was an unbelievable crowd. The whole stadium was packed. It was a couple deep on the one side of the track, and the west end, I guess we would call it, was a couple deep all the way around that edge of the track. So the crowd was amazing when we were up there. It had a playoff atmosphere already, like in Game 4 whenever we played them. So I assume it's going to be very similar to that when we go in there. So our kids aren't, they know what they're going into. Now it's just a matter of us, again, doing what we've done through our 3-game win streak, is focus on what we do our job, and do it to our best of our ability. If we can do that, we're going to be in good shape.
I think I remember when you played O'Neill earlier this year, you didn't get off to as quick of a start as you wanted to. You talked about it, second half, it was pretty much an even ball game, but how do you, of course, going against this high-powered offense, not allow them to hit you in the mouth starting things off and play the game you want to play to ultimately, the goal is to come out with a win?
The biggest thing is we've got to have somewhat of a tunnel vision. If I'm a defensive lineman, I got to know exactly what I got to do, and I got to execute to my best of my ability. If I'm a linebacker, I've got to do that to my best of my ability. I can't be, getting outside of what I'm supposed to do. So those are the things we're going to have to do. Again, I keep preaching it, but that's a fact. We have to do our jobs and do it to the best of our ability.
They say it's tough to beat a team twice, especially a good team like you guys are. Does that ever come into your guys' mind? I know you're very much on the prize and don't let that outside stuff come ahead of you, but I got to imagine that's maybe somewhere in the back of your mind.
Well, the nice thing about it is we get 3 views of the game that we played early in the year. We had 3 games that we traded with them earlier. We got another 3 games that we traded with them this time. That's 6 games plus ours. We have 7 games of them on tape. There's not really any secrets. Not to mention we have the 3 views from our games. So we have the end zone, we have the wide and tight from our game when we played before, and you usually don't have that to scout a playoff team. So that's been really beneficial, and we'll see if it pays dividends, but we've done our due diligence with film and homework, and hopefully our kids are ready to roll.
About a minute to go in this one, but for a refresher course on O'Neill, they haven't lost, but what is it that they do well? What are they all about, and what do you guys need to stop from them?
Well, there's a lot of people talking about the Vedral kid from Wahoo Newman, and rightly so. He's an amazing athlete, an outstanding football player. But O'Neill has a quarterback that is as darn good a football player as we have in our class, this Tramer kid. And I know he's a pretty good basketball player as well. But he is an amazing athlete, and he's kind of the straw that stirs the drink for them. And he keeps plays alive, extends plays, and offense, he does that really well. On defense, they just swarm the football and play downhill. I would kind of say that's summing them up in a short synopsis, but they do a great job of just playing hard-nosed football, and they take the mentality of their head coach, because that's kind of how he is.
All right, Coach, well, final message. You're in the locker room. You're about to go out there. What do you tell them beforehand?
What we've been preaching for the last 3 weeks: do your job and do it to the best of your ability. It's important to understand that we cannot lose focus on that. It's carried us thus far these last 3 games, and it's going to carry us through this game as well.
All right, Coach, we're hoping the Vikings do their job, you do your job, and we'll be talking to you with a win next week as well.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Lakeview traveling up to O'Neill, first round of the playoffs. Stay with us on News Channel Nebraska. We'll hear from SCOTUS and Coach Pelon when we return.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up!
That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Annette Alt in Columbus today.
Well, I love it. I know, right? I saw it and I was just like, oh, I have to have it.
Is it suede?
Suede. Love suede.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these.
Well, I love it. I know, right? I saw it and I was like, have to have it. Is it suede? It's suede. I love suede.
That's why we're there, with renter's insurance when things go wrong, but also here with a rewards credit card to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Annette Alt in Columbus today.
And welcome back to the Coaches Show on News Channel Nebraska for our third and final segment, brought to you by State Farm. Giving at Alt a call today to discuss auto, home, life, and renters insurance. A special day on the Coaches Show. Brandon Axman alongside Grant Otten. We have a first-time guest, Scotus Shamrock's offensive coordinator, Jay Pelon. Coach Linder is trusting you with this responsibility to come here in his stead. How's the weight on your shoulders right now? You think you're going to be able to live up to the task?
I'll do my best. It's kind of short notice. Coach Linder had something come up and he couldn't make it, so he called me, and here I am.
Well, excited to have you on this week, and I guess can we start off, talk a little bit about how practice has been going? This is obviously a big week for you guys.
It is a big week. We're in the playoffs, and that's always a great thing, to try to extend our season, and the kids are really excited. A lot of these guys contributed to our team last year. That won the title, and they know what it takes to practice, and they're setting good examples for these younger kids, and it's been a really upbeat week so far.
And Kearney Catholic, of course, the team on the horizon. We'll talk about them in just a little bit, but the reason you get to play Kearney Catholic is because you came up big last Friday. Taking a look at some of the highlights against Adams Central. You needed a win to ensure your trip to the playoffs, and you guys came out, performed, and got the W.
We did. We had a really good week of practice last week leading up to this game. The last couple of weeks we've tried to focus the kids a little bit more and stay on task and really execute the little things as well as we can. We came out right away, had a fumble on our first series for the second game in a row, which obviously is not planned, but the kids really responded, and defense played well. Our offense moved the ball. And we put some points up on the board early, and everything kind of fell into place for us.
Well, you kind of mentioned it before the show. You think you guys are kind of playing your best ball right now. What's kind of been the facilitator for that?
Well, like I said, after we had that Ord loss we had kind of mid-season, we took a step back and we kind of lost track of the little things. So we really focused our practices on the little things, like finishing off blocks, taking care of the football. Shortening our playbook a little bit and getting really good at the things that we're good at, this particular team. Every team's different, and I think we found the things that we're really good at, and we've really focused on, all three phases of the ball on the things that we're good at, and it's been paying off for us.
And looking at the stats, you said, like you always do after the contest, you had 10 guys in this one carry the ball, and there wasn't really a breakout rusher this time. It was a pretty evenly distributed effort across the board. How did you feel seeing that? Was that something you expected going in? You said we're going to give a lot of guys chances to carry the ball, or did that just kind of progress the way the game flowed?
Well, when we go into, at least from an offensive standpoint, we have a lot of guys that rotate in and carry the play in until, for the huddle. And we really do try to distribute the football a lot. We have 3 running backs that are in our offensive sets that can all carry the ball. They either are carrying it or they're faking. We really don't plan on, at least I don't plan on, distributing it that much, but it just kind of ends up that way. And that's what the kids really like. They all know when their number's called, it may only be 3 or 4 times, but they really, they take care of the football. They try to get as many yards as they can for us, and that's really paid off.
In Adams Central, a team with some big play tendency and capabilities. You guys had some big plays in this game, both offensively and defensively. How important was that for you guys? Because you guys kind of got on the run, got them on your toes, and just continued to roll.
Right. We were kind of slow going at first. It was 7-7 after the first quarter, but we made some adjustments and really opened up some holes from the offensive standpoint, and even got some good pass plays that really opened things up and got us a good lead at halftime. So.
And you saw a few big plays there against Adams Central. You mentioned coming into this one, they had some big play players of their own, and one of which was their quarterback. But Luke Jarecki, he had a great game. This is one of his 3 touchdowns he had. So how pleased were you to see Jarecki, one of the seniors, making some big plays with his legs?
Luke is really, about 3 or 4 games into the season, he's really turned it on and been a big playmaker for us. The highlight that you showed there was a kickoff return. That's the first kickoff return we've had for a touchdown in, I think, 3 or 4 years. And Coach Cranky does a great job with our special teams, and we really were focused on this game and the previous game too. We didn't get one, but a special teams touchdown, and we got it this game. And Luke, he really had a breakout game with 3 touchdowns in one quarter, and that really got us over the top. as far as extending the lead and giving us a little bit of comfort zone in the Adams Central game.
We always talk with Linder a little bit about Palmer as he's a young quarterback, and it's interesting to see him playing on a high-caliber team like you guys are this year. But going into playoffs, that's a whole other beast for a young guy to be playing at that level. How do you think he's been doing?
Tyler's been doing a great job this year. He's really, he's a freshman, scholastically, but really he plays like a junior and sometimes even a senior. You're going to have those lapses, and where you make a mental mistake here and there, but that's expected for a freshman. And he is one of our playmakers. We expect him, even though he's a freshman. We say, now that the regular season's over, you're not a freshman anymore. We're working towards your next season for these playoffs, and he knows. He's had a lot of experiences in other sports where he's had to play at a high level, and we just try to treat this game like it's just another game. We don't approach it any differently than we did in any game during the regular season, and I think that helps keep the kids calm and realize they know what's at stake, but they stay focused at the task at hand. So.
Well, of course, it's win or go home the rest of the way out here with the playoffs, and you have Kearney Catholic on the schedule. Now, they only have one loss this season. That's against a team in Kansas. But you always wonder, you hear most of the teams they played are out west, so you wonder how good actually are they. Now, you've had a chance, I'm sure, to take a look at some film. What do the Stars bring in? What kind of challenges will they possess?
Well, Kearney Catholic is really, I think, an underrated team. They have the unique combination of size and speed. They have really good quarterback and a running back that'll line up as a slot receiver sometimes. And those are their big playmakers. And then they've got some size up front. So it presents us with a lot of challenges. They'll throw the ball 3/4 of the time. And they don't run it a whole lot, but they're very efficient in the air, and they put up a lot of points. The scores, they've played GICC and one other in Adams Central, and their scores are pretty similar to ours. That's really the only way we can compare. We've seen them on film quite a bit. We've really broken them down, and we think, going in, we have a pretty good game plan to compete with them. It'll be tough, but as long as we, if we can take care of the football, execute our game plan, that'll give us a chance.
Adams Central has been a pass-heavy team throughout the year. Is playing them this last week, and then are you going to carry some of that game plan over into this next week? And does that help, I guess, in that transition?
It really does. And even Boone Central, who we played 2 weeks ago, and Adams Central, both threw the ball a lot, and they really had a dynamic quarterback, which Kearney Catholic has. He wants to throw the ball. Kearney Catholic's quarterback does. But he can run too, and he can really, get by himself some time to throw the ball in the air. So we really have to be disciplined and do things like cover to the whistle and things like that to really give us a chance.
All right, Coach, well, we're out of time. It always goes so fast, but as always, wishing you guys the best of luck as you take on Kearney Catholic in the first round.
Yep, thanks a lot, Brandon. Thanks, Grant.
Brandon Axbert, Grant Naughton, a special thanks to Coach Jay Pelon coming in for the offensive coordinator for the Shamrocks and filling in for Coach Linder. Again, they are taking on Kearney Catholic on Friday. That wraps up the Coaches Show. We'll see you next time.
Rest easy. State Farm agent Annette Alt is there for you. Call 402-564-8581 today for the service you deserve.
Well, I love it. I know, right? I saw it and I was just like, oh, I have to have it.
Is it suede?
Suede. Love suede.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these.
Well, I love it. I know, right? I saw it and I was like, have to have it. Is it suede? It's suede. I love suede.
That's why we're there with renter's insurance when things go wrong, but also here with a rewards credit card to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Annette Alt in Columbus today. In Columbus, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Annette Alt for your insurance and financial needs.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up!
Ah!
That's why State Farm is there with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Annette Alt in Columbus today. rest easy. State Farm agent Annette Alt is there for you. Call 402-564-8581 today for the service you deserve. In Columbus, see your good neighbor